Hello and welcome to Fernbank Science Center's The Sky This Week for the end of May and the beginning of June 2021. There are some bright planets in the early morning sky this week, and the moon is at third quarter or last quarter on June 2nd. Begin at the beginning of the week, Sunday the 30th, 9:45 p.m., facing the direction where the sun appears to rise toward the east. This image shows a big piece of the sky, like more than half of it. And if you're looking toward the northeast early in the evening, there's a pattern of stars called the Big Dipper. 7 fairly bright stars in a dipper shape, cup with 4 stars, a curved handle with 3 more. The 2 stars on the end of the dipper's bowl or cup point toward Polaris, the North Star. That's the one star that appears to stay in one place all evening long, doesn't move. The North Star is at the end of the handle of the Little Dipper, much smaller pattern, fainter stars, not very big. But if you can find the North Star, no matter where you are, at least north of the equator, you can find that North Star and figure out which way is north. If you use the Big Dipper, it can be used as a signpost. That curving handle, the arc of the dipper's handle, can take you, follow the arc, to the bright star Arcturus. Arcturus is a fairly close and fairly bright star. It's part of the constellation of Boötes, the herdsman. Courtesy of Earth and Sky, here's a bit of a diagram. Arcturus is that bright star down by his feet. Supposed to be a herdsman or a shepherd type person, looks a lot like a kite. That bright star, Arcturus, it's the 4th brightest star in the whole night sky. Only a few stars brighter than that. And it's 37 light years away from Earth. That means that the light coming from that star left 37 years ago and is just tonight getting down to our eyes. And a light year is not a distance. It's a measure of distance. It's not time, although the word years is in there. It's a measure of how far light can travel in a year. And light travels really fast, right? 186,000 miles per second times 60 seconds in a minute times 60 minutes in an hour times 24 and a little bit hours in a day times 365 and a little bit days in a year. That's about 6 trillion miles for one light year. Boötes and Arcturus are 37 light years away. So the light coming into your eyes tonight is 37 years old. If you can find Arcturus about halfway up the sky, between east and south now, use Arcturus and speed on a little bit further. That'll take you to the bright star Spica. That's part of the constellation of Virgo. Those 3 follow the arc to Arcturus and speed on to Spica. Those are high in the sky in the early evening, just after sunset. Add in some lines and words, and it might give you an idea of what we're looking for. So between east and south part of the sky, high in the sky, Boötes, the herdsman, with the bright star Arcturus, and Virgo, a maiden, with the bright star Spica. Those are fairly easy to find at this time of year before 10 p.m. By the middle of the week, early in the morning now, facing east again, there are still those big planets Saturn and Jupiter visible in the early morning sky. By 5:30 in the morning, those are high toward the southeast part of the sky, and they're about a hand span across. If you make your left arm into a measuring stick, hold your arm straight out in front of you, lock your elbow, spread out your fingers as wide as they'll go on your left hand, put the tip of your pinky finger on the bright star-like Jupiter. The tip of your thumb will stretch almost to Saturn. And if you put your thumb on Jupiter and spread your fingers the other way, the third quarter moon will be visible on the morning of the 2nd. Third quarter moon, that means the moon has moved 3/4 of the way around its orbit from when it started at new moon. The light is shining on the left-hand side of the moon now. It's kind of like that's the direction the sun is going to be if you look down from the lit up side. And on Wednesday, June 2nd, is when the moon reaches third quarter phase for us this year. Now, if we start off on the 2nd, we have Jupiter and Saturn in the early morning sky with a third quarter moon. Watch what happens as 24 hours goes by. The planets seem to be about the same, but the moon has moved along its orbit and appears in a little bit different part of the sky. By the 4th, the moon will be a much thinner crescent and much farther from those bright planets. And by the 5th on Saturday, it'll be a little eyelash moon visible just before the sun rises. And some of the other stars have already disappeared in the morning twilight. That's it for the end of May and beginning of June 2021. Thanks very much for listening. Please do check out Fernbank Science Center's website, www.fernbank.edu. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for Friday evening virtual planetarium lessons and Saturday science sessions. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week.